Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome, friends. Welcome to another episode of Conversation with Dune and Friends. Our guest today, we have a special guest all the way from beautiful British Columbia joining us. And I'll give a quick introduction before having her join us here. But Andrea, you still hear me in the green room, my friend? Wonderful, wonderful. So, given that Andrea can hear me and see me in the green room, that means we're ready to go. And she's uh, just having her coffee or whatever that is. There, I'm going to run through just a quick introduction here, folks. Folks, if you can hear me, give me a sign or a comment. Let us know that you can hear the sound loud and clear. That would be great. And so these shows are always a little bit better with sound, I think. So let me just do a quick introduction here. And again, Andrea Menard is joining us from British Columbia today. And we're going to just have an hour and a bit together. And in terms of who you'll be listening to, and let me just do a quick introduction. Andrea Menard is an accomplished Métis singer-songwriter, actor, speaker, wellness trainer, retreat host, and the founder of the Sacred Feminine Learning Lodge. She is a teacher of feminine leadership and trains individuals how to lead like a goddess, an advocate for rematriation and reconciliation. Andrea helps women, men, and all gender people to name, reclaim, and embody the qualities of the sacred feminine. One of the stars of the Netflix series, Black Stone, Andrea is a 5-time Gemini-nominated actress, a 15-time Music Award winner, and her TEDx talk called Silent No More has reached over 126,000 views. She has released 4 award-winning albums, a symphony show, 2 television programs, and performed for royalty, such as prime ministers and governor generals and residential school survivors and families of the missing and murdered Indigenous women, and even sang for her Song of Peace to the world's NATO generals. Born in Manitoba, Andrea is a proud member of the Métis Nation of Canada. She is an auntie in the Indigenous Women Entrepreneurs Lift Circle and a 5-year member of the Canadian Association of Professional Speakers. With that brief introduction, folks, please help me in welcoming our wonderful guest, Andrea Menard. Andrea, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm very well, Dune. Thanks for introducing me and having me on your show.
Yeah, wonderful. It's great to see you, my friend. It's been a long time. Last time we seen each other in person was, I'm sure, at the CAPS convention. We see each other. So I belong to the same association for the last 10 years as well. So yeah, it's great to see you, my friend. How's the weather over there in BC?
Sunshiny today, so I am not complaining.
Great. You know, we have an hour and a bit to talk about all kinds of things, whether it's music, whether it's community advocacy, whether it's leadership or all of those different aspects of life that are very important and more. But before we get into all of those, maybe give us a expanded kind of backstory of how you got here, my friend. The bio was great, but tell us, any story, any kind of interesting thing that took you here. So I'll just have you do an expanded introduction.
Oh God. Well, I have many personalities. No, I'm an actor and a singer and a performer by trade. So that's kind of been my bread and butter for over 25 years. And I've always been speaking, but I never really saw speaking as one of my professions until, over the last 5 years. So all of my work as an actor and a singer and a writer of the things I created was all great and pushing me. I tend to think of myself as like a medicine wheel. Yeah. I'm Indigenous, so I think of myself as a medicine wheel. And when people would say, "Are you an actor or a singer?" and I'm like, "Well, I'm both." And "Are you an actor, a singer, or a writer?" and I'm like, "Well, I'm all three." And I realized that as a medicine whale, I was always four, and that's an actor, a singer, a speaker, and a messenger of some sort. And of course, the speaker lies in that messenger category, and someone, the advocacy, sits in that fourth quadrant of the medicine wheel. So I'm all sorts of things, but these days I tend to be using my expression, because as an actor and singer, I'm an expresser at heart. I'm good at that. So I use that. I'm starting to use my voice for others. When you're a young actor and singer, it's kind of about you, but you start to realize that you have not an obligation, but you're part of the community, and when you rise up, you should bring everyone else up with you.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful. Wonderful. I just a minor technical issue. I see that your volume on this particular session right now is really really loud, and so if there was a way to have your microphone a little bit down, a little bit, maybe even stay away from the camera or the microphone just a little bit further of a distance, sure, that would help us. It was just like
I turned it down. Is that better?
Maybe. Oh, you can turn it down. That's wonderful. Could you turn it down a little bit more? Maybe 10%?
Sure.
That'd be great. Yeah, we just didn't notice that before. We thought it was okay. But so, my friend, thank you for that expanded introduction. And so you moved from, was it Saskatchewan? Or tell us about how long you've been in each provinces. Have you been in Alberta ever, or live, kind of in terms of residency?
I did. I've lived all across the prairie provinces. So I'm definitely a Métis girl who was quite nomadic as a kid. We moved around quite a bit.
Nice.
And but I'm now in, so I was born in Treaty 2. No, I was born in Treaty 5 territory, but my people are from Treaty 2 territory in Manitoba, but I was raised in Treaty 6 territory, a lot of my life. So I've spent a lot of time in Saskatchewan and Alberta. And now I'm in the unceded territories of the Coast Salish folks.
Yeah, wonderful. Let me just check with our viewers here. Feel free, folks, to comment. We have about 6 or 7 people watching at the moment. They'll probably come on as they good with their lunch break there. But feel free to comment and ask Andrea questions along the way, and engage with us along the way here. And so, yeah, Andrea, if you can turn the volume down another 5%, that'd be wonderful. So. What I'm going to do is I'm going to maybe one of the first thing I want to do is look at some photos, my friend, and have you maybe talk about stories that fill us out even more. We have certainly some of speaking clips of you speaking at TEDx, and we certainly have clips of your music and your various performances and whatnot. But I think I'm going to start with the photo side of things. So. It's going to be random order. And so this is a great way to get to know you a little bit further before we hear some of your music. And we heard one beautiful song at the very beginning. Tell us about that song, by the way. How did it come about? When did you write it? Tell us a bit more about that we heard at the beginning of the broadcast here.
Okay, first of all, I don't know how to turn it down anymore, by the way.
Okay, no worries. So
I apologize, everybody. That song is called The Return of the Belle of Batoche. Mm-hmm. And several years ago in 2013, there was a big event in Batoche, which is the homeland of the Métis and our kind of our sacred site. And we have a big gathering there every year. And this particular year was the return of the bell that had been, it had been stolen back in the resistance of 1885. But it had been sitting in a, what do you call it? In Ontario, in armories as a trophy of war in an Ontario militia unit. And of course, that's been digging in the craw of many Métis people. And we had some of our gifted Métis warriors happen to be there that day. Is it too loud?
No, I'm just checking.
Okay. It was some of our gifted warriors basically lifted that bell, and it went into hiding for over 26 years. And in 2013, it was time for the bell to come home. And so I was approached by the keeper of the bell, and he asked me to go and put some tobacco down and write a song. And we wrote a song, Robert Walsh and I, who's my longtime collaborator. And we went off and we put tobacco down and we asked the ancestors to help. And that song came. And it was all about speaking as the bell, as though the bell and the Métis people are synonymous, because, you know, the bell was stolen, went into hiding, and the Métis people were silenced after the resistance. So it was a very symbolic, beautiful opportunity to be able to share the voice of the bell.
Yeah. Well, very nice. Very nice. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play perhaps part of your TEDx talk there that you have. Tell us about the TEDx and how did you come about that opportunity? Because that's a very, very difficult opportunity to come by and takes a lot of work and preparation. Tell us a bit about that TEDx talk that you did recently.
Sure. Well, I'm luckier than most, maybe, because somebody in 2017 dropped out and they went quickly searching for some people who could be able to be a backup speaker. And I was one of the people chosen as a backup speaker. Now I had to quickly, within 6 weeks, get a talk ready. One of the most stressful experiences of my life, because everyone else had a year. But I didn't get on. I was ready to go on, but I didn't get on.
Yeah.
And I went on in 2018. And it's like in that time, my talk is called Silent No More, Using Your Voice to End Violence Against Women. And I didn't go into TED Talk wanting to talk about that. That was not my choice of talk. But that topic chose me. This was happening right at the time of the Me Too movement. See, remember, this was happening. I had been starting to write it in 2017. So this was right when Me Too movement was happening. And I did not want to talk about sexual violence. You know, I'm like, man, I don't want to talk about this. But as the days and the months went by, I realized, of course, no one wants to talk about it. That's the whole point. Nobody wants to talk about it, but it's such an everyday occurrence and it's happening way too often because people like me are being silent. So I spoke up, and this was my kind of coming out on a public way. I mean, my friends and family knew, but not the community at large. I'd never used my platform as a celebrity, as you know, to talk about things like this before, and so that was a big deal. And as a singer and as an actor, I said, as an expresser, you know, I went through a time in my life when I felt like I had no voice. I even had this burning lump that just burnt. It was a burning lump. And I knew, and when I was rewriting this talk, when I was doing rewrites and trying to birth it, that throat thing came back. And it's like I was being reminded physically and emotionally and mentally of how important it is to talk about this stuff, because it's 25, 35, 45 years later, and this memory is still in my body, and I wanted to be able to share that with others. So that topic chose me. And if you look at it, the timing, of course, it's time. It's the rise of the sacred feminine, as my elders say. So
yeah, let's take a listen and watch it. And I'm going to take both of our videos out here. And Andrea, if you go to the host chat, I will work with you to just fine tune that volume there.
Sure.
But we can certainly roll this here. By the way, Margaret Kress said, send you flowers there, my friend. I'm sure there's meaning behind that flower. And so that's beautiful. Thank you, Margaret. And let me know if you can hear this sound here as I play it, okay? Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, we'll communicate in the host chat.
Violence against women silences far too many voices in our society. 1 in 3 women worldwide will experience physical or sexual violence in their lifetime. 1 in 3. Could be your mother, your sister, your friend, your wife, your daughter, you. 1 in 3. And for women who work in male-dominated fields, like in Hollywood, that number is higher. And for women of color and Indigenous women like me, that number is even higher. Violence against women comes in many forms: child molestation, sexual abuse, sexual assault, domestic violence, workplace harassment, cyberbullying, date rape, stalking, human trafficking, even murder. And this list keeps growing. But the targets are the same. Mostly women and those who identify as women, and children who can't defend themselves. Women who can't speak up and speak out against the men who cause them harm. Women's voices are stifled. And even though it may not seem like it in some of your homes, the feminine voice is still missing in the song of humanity. And humanity is robbed of its valuable
Here's a bright idea. Your mobile should come with your internet. And now it does.
As an Indigenous woman from the Métis Nation of Canada, I was taught that women are sacred, that we are the life givers. And not that men are not sacred, you are. But the elders say that this is the time of the sacred feminine. And that means that men, women, two-spirited, all of us have work to do in learning how to honor the feminine voice and learning how to honor what is sacred. And women are sacred. As a little girl, I knew I was sacred. They called me the little songbird. And I may have been terrible at telling jokes and terrible at ballet, but I could sing. I was singing before I could talk. And this little number was my first big hit. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Do you remember singing that when you were a child? Yeah. Or hearing your son or daughter sing it? Children's voices are so open and clear and sacred. When I was 13 years old, my little songbird suddenly stopped singing. I'm in a little town in northern Saskatchewan, and I'm at my first party. My friend Jackie and I are so excited because we are sharing our first cocktail of alcohol. You know, the kind that only a 13-year-old can make. Rum, rye, tequila, peach schnapps, Grand Marnier. Well, we are giddy because, not because of the booze, but because all of the cute older boys are here, including the cute, blonde, feathered-haired boy that I have a crush on. And when he walks up to me, Jackie nudges me. I think I'm going to pass out. But we talk and talk. And after a while, he takes my hand and asks me to go to his car. He has a car?
So, my friend, tell us about that experience. Many of us speakers and people who communicate for a living very much know what TEDx is about. We know what TED is about, and certainly it's a very rare opportunity to be able to share your ideas in that particular forum. Tell us about the whole experience.
Well, I was very fortunate. TEDx Stanley Park was one of the bigger ones one of the bigger TEDx's that exist. Mm-hmm. And I was very lucky to be on that stage in Vancouver at the Queen Elizabeth Theatre, 2,500 people in that audience. So it was a pretty big deal. And yeah, that particular TEDx doesn't exist anymore because the person who had headed that up changed the format and is now running the Get Inspired Vancouver, the whole new platform that could take on the TED format, Anyway, this was, like I said, I was the backup speaker the first year, and I was given a year and some to really make sure that this was the story I wanted to tell. And as you know, it's a little bit of a different shape than a lot of TED Talks. So, my actor and singer and expresser comes out too. There's a lot of story in it, but I'm Indigenous, so I can't help but tell stories. But it's it can be triggering to some people. So at this point, it's a good time to stop it for people to just. I mean, the topic is ending violence, so you're probably going to witness some or hear about some experiences in watching it. But it's filled with hope too. It's filled with a way that we can do this together, that we can end violence together, because there's too many voices out there who have experienced it. There's too many voices missing from the conversation. And so that's an invitation to our brothers, the men in our lives, to recognize this is a time of change for our brothers right now. There's a lot of things happening. So the women are rising, the voices are rising, and it's just time. It's time. So it's a good thing.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing that. And what I like to do is continue with. Perhaps I'm going to switch gear and bring up some photos and have you talk about them. The volume is still mysteriously really loud, and it's okay. But on the loud kind of tones, it may be peaking a little bit. So if there's a way,
it went up. So how is that? Is that better?
Say that again.
Is it better?
Still, it could be lower if you can.
It's funny because check 1, 2.
Yeah, if you can't, you just simply back away from the mic a little bit, and that will manage some of the volume. But it was fine before. Somehow it's pretty hot right now. But tell us about this photo that I'm going to bring in here, and we'll just be mindful of that volume there, and we'll go ahead and share it here, my friend. And let's take us through a journey of some of the stuff that you've been up to and some of the stuff that you were doing. And this is just a way to do that. This is a multimedia way to kind of explore, get to know you a bit better here, my friend, before we share some more music and some more other fun stuff as well. So tell us about this one.
Well, that, my friend, is my most exciting project right now. Mm-hmm. It is it's a deck of cards, a deck of wisdom cards or oracle cards that I'm in the process. Like I've just finished designing and finalizing the book and the cards, and that's the picture for the mock-up for my Indiegogo campaign to get these cards printed. So I'm incredibly excited. I have an Indiegogo campaign right now.
Right. And so how many cards are in there?
There's 52 full color cards, and you'll see the beautiful artwork on there.
Oh, nice.
The artwork has 52 original paintings from my Métis sister, Leah Marie Dorian, who is a woman I went to school with. She's like my sister. So these two Métis women have created this offering for people, and it's definitely through an Indigenous lens. And as my elders said, now is the time of the rise of the sacred feminine, which means it's the rise of the environmental movement, it's the rise of women, it's the rise of nurturing men, it's the rise of two-spirited and the trans queer community, the rise of the Indigenous voice, the rise of the BIPOC community, right? So it's a pretty big time. So this deck of cards is a way to help people work through that. What does that mean, the sacred feminine? And because every single human being has a sacred feminine and a sacred masculine, but in our world, the sacred masculine skills are the ones that are honored more. So this is a way to help invite people in to get to know their softer side, their compassionate side, their interior side, their inner world a little better. So that's my offering.
Exciting. Yeah. This is like fresh off the press, is it?
It hasn't even been printed yet. Like this is just, 5 days old.
Wow.
My Indiegogo campaign. We've already reached our first our first
Fantastic.
goal.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that if people want a copy of that, they just go to the Indiegogo campaign. I guess I can put it somewhere. You can maybe put it for me.
Absolutely.
And they can pre-buy their copy.
Yeah.
Hopefully get it by Christmas.
Wonderful. Fantastic. Exciting. There you are in one of your wonderful photos. Let me say, I did not know when I read your bio and I did all of the stuff there that you sent me, I just realized how much of a rock star you are, how much of a celebrity you are. I know you through speaking community and all that stuff, and I know you do all these things. But I must say, I have a new appreciation for the level that you operate at in all these different fields, my friend.
Thank you, dude. This is a headshot. That's an actor's headshot.
Wonderful. So acting, one of the I guess do you call it a show, or it's not a movie, but it's a show, regular sort of
Series?
Yeah, the series, exactly. Blackstone. Tell us more about that series. In fact, there's a photo coming up. Maybe you might want to reserve until we come to that photo. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Tell us about this.
Well, that's me and my regalia. The Métis people are considered the flower beadwork people. So if you can see some of my, there's some beadwork on my arm bands and around my neck. And that's me playing, probably doing an opening number on my hand drum. So, somebody, and I don't know who took this photo, so I'm sorry if any of you see this, and I don't know who took it. I can't find the name of the person.
Mm-hmm. Well, wonderful. Let's look at this one. There you go. That's the photo. I think there's another one as well, but yeah, tell us more about this now. Okay,
so I am the Blackstone is like the native Sopranos. I'm the bitch on Blackstone. I'm not gonna lie. The character I'm married to, the Tony Soprano kind of guy. Anyway, he's the reprehensible chief of the res, and he's like a sociopath, like he's a man in power, and I'm married to the man in power, and to see the sort of shady politics that happen because of this guy, so it's a pretty raw show, and I'm definitely not the nicest lady on the block.
In other words, you were acting.
Oh yeah, but where did that come from?
Yeah. I remember this conference. This is, I think this is Edmonton.
No, this was the Indigenous Women's, was this? Where was that? This one was Vancouver, I think. The Indigenous Women's Leadership Summit, I think.
I see that now. I see you see on the top there. Yeah, I see that now. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was in, I think, Vancouver here. And it was an amazing gathering of incredible women. Yeah. Well,
wonderful. There you are again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What you can't see is that as I do this and as I do this, all of the people in the audience are also doing that with me. So
yeah.
That's nice.
This. Yeah. Audience engagement is always adds as an extra level of
And that was the first year of it. Yeah,
wonderful. Lift. Tell us more about Lift. That's a bit of a theme for you.
Yeah. So that album, is my latest album release, co-written with Robert Walsh. You'll see a little photo of him there. Robert Walsh and I. Okay, so this is kind of a big story. Back when I lived in Saskatchewan, it was the last couple of years living there, I had not just a breakdown. I mean, when you're on a spiritual journey, you have tons of breakdowns.
Yeah.
This was an opening in a particularly big way. And what happened was I started to, sorry, my dog is snoring. Quit snoring.
Well, we have some good news, my friend. One of our viewers, thank you so much. One of our viewers says that the sound's okay. So it must be on that verge. I'm on some kind of very detailed monitoring here, and I can see it clipping, but apparently it's not noticeable to the audience, which is fine, which is good. But thank you so much.
Thanks. Okay, so I had this experience where I became incredibly sensitive to my environment. I was
Mhm.
just so open, and it was like, whoa, and the world was so, it was a lot. And one thing that became, it was almost like the most profound thing was I couldn't listen to music the way I used to listen to it.
Mm.
Music, it's like I could trace back
Wow.
the sentiment of a song, whether it was filled with a positive message or
Yeah.
one that was of grief or loss or revenge or lust or victimhood. I could feel the origins of a song, and
Mm.
I couldn't hear anything that had that and like anything with a negative message. I just couldn't go there. I was running away from music, a musician who was running away from music. It was a traumatic time.
Mm.
And so I went searching for positive music. I went, oh my gosh, although I didn't use the word positive. Had I used the word positive, I would have found it. But I was like, uplifting, joyful, happy, and I couldn't, like nothing came up except Sesame Street and like the Muppets or something. I went, oh, good. Those are at least songs I can go after.
Yeah.
And Disney had a few of those songs too. So, but a few years later, so in other words, I had so much trouble trying to find positive music
Yeah.
that I decided to write a positive album myself.
Hmm.
I needed to be uplifted, so I wanted to make music that uplifted me. And I called Robert Walsh up and I said, Robert, we're going to write an album that makes me feel good. And he went,
Yeah.
okay, let's do it. And that's where Lift came from. So
Yeah. We're gonna fast forward to Robert. There's Robert right there. In
right
fact,
there.
look at that beautiful man in the purple shirt and very
Looking good, right?
artistic. Look at that. Hey.
Yeah, my friend designed that shirt. Isn't that gorgeous?
Oh man. I mean, purple alone would have done it, and then you got all that sort of artistic stuff on there.
Mhm.
He went all out that day.
Well, you see the cover. Look at all the flowers on my cover. Like, come on.
Yeah, yeah. Flower seems to be a theme as well. Cool. Who doesn't like flowers, right? Yeah. Oh, you know what? I just realized that while I was showing Robert, for some reason it was in this mode. We
Yeah.
want to feature Robert again. Here we go.
There we go. Yeah, because
Yeah.
no one can really see it. Yeah. There we go.
Look at that.
So that's me and my regalia again. But so last summer I was given a new name. So my name, I carry two names.
Yeah.
One is Notogoyutin, which means grandmother wind in Cree.
Mhm.
And last year I was given a new name, Shkotekwe, which means firewoman in Anishinaabe. So this particular photo to me is firewoman. It's that's the woman I need to walk into. That's the name I'm carrying, but I also need to walk into that her. And so that's a good photo for me to recognize who firewoman is.
Yeah, wonderful.
That's my symphony show. We premiered that at the Regina Symphony Orchestra in 2014.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's all original music, mostly original music. And it's sort of my journey. So it's in jazz world, like an Indigenous person in the jazz world. It's very rare and very odd.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that story. I've changed the name. So it's not going to be I am Andrea Menard anymore. It's going to be called Ninshkotekwe, which means I am firewoman.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
You've graduated. You've graduated to firewoman. You are, as you said earlier, stepping into it. And
yeah, and we haven't done it anywhere else yet. So I'm still working on that. Anyway, hey Edmonton, where you are?
There you go.
Hey Vancouver.
Fantastic photos here. That's wonderful. And here we are with again. Is this a different show now?
Yeah, this is called Rabbit Fall. My photo is the little logo at the bottom, but if you move my face. Rabbit Fall. I was the lead of Rabbit Fall, and it was this supernatural crime drama. It was just this fabulous little show on Space and APTN, and it was one of the most heartbreaking experiences because we were 2 weeks away going into our third season when the whole big crash hit. 2008, and we got canceled.
Oh no.
So it's a pretty brutal little heartbreak story. But yeah,
Wow.
I was nominated for an award for that Gemini Award in Canadian. It's like the Canadian, Emmys, I guess.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for these stories. So let me just recap for our viewers so far here. So you do a lot of acting, you do a lot of singing and performing music and music shows and whatnot. You do a lot of speaking as well, and you do a lot of retreat. You run retreat and all of that, and just in general being an advocate for the community and really in all of that. I'm going to keep you on your toe here, my friend, a little bit, and say, in all of that, what is the one common thread that connects all of those different things, 5 or 6 or 7 different things that you do professionally and very deeply involved? If you had to describe, one thing that sort of run through them, what might that be?
That's a great question because I didn't have an answer for years. And I finally do have an answer now.
Mm-hmm.
And it is when I heard an elder from the Turtle Lodge on the Saugeen First Nation.
Mm-hmm.
He had a gathering, or they had a gathering of elders in 2012, I think. And it was all these elders, these Indigenous elders, they came together to create a document for the world to say, hi, Linda. Hey, they created a document for the world to be able to say, this is what Indigenous people believe and think, and you need to know. This is what you need to know about us.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time I'd heard the term from an elders community say, hi, Stephanie, to say we're in the time of the rise of the sacred feminine. And it's like a bomb went off in my head. I went, that's me. That's who I am. That is what I do. So my acting, so everything that comes out of me, all my songs, all my music, all, wanting to create, like the music messenger, the song keeper, wanting to create positive messages. It's like a memory of, I have a responsibility to the tribe, for the well-being of the tribe.
Yeah.
No matter who that tribe is, that's my responsibility as somebody who has the power of song.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, sisters. And there's the singer in me who didn't want to just sing to be famous. I wanted to sing to uplift people. I wanted to change the people. I wanted to make sure people felt uplifted and empowered, right? So there's that in me. And then there was the wanting to end violence against women, just wanting to stop the injustice and the imbalance in our world. And then, there's the acting of wanting to be a voice, because I was a part of the movement on APTN when, this whole influx of young Indigenous producers, directors, writers, and actors were, getting their chops, like in the film and television industry. And so I was there wanting to be a part of the movement of raising voices. And I've played lots of lesbian characters. I've been so blessed to play that, which more lesbian people probably are saying they need those roles. Go for it, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But at the time, there were more lesbian characters. Like we were trying to build more lesbian characters, or, people of different, preference on screen. Mm-hmm. And I'm part of the first. Yeah. I'm part of the first transgender sitcom. Like, how did I get on that? But, so it's like my whole being and using all my talents has been to say, I am a part of the rise of the sacred feminine. In all aspects of my life, I've been doing that. I just never had a word for it. Mm-hmm. And so when the elders gave me those words, it's like everything else made sense. And now my speaking and my teaching, and now this deck of cards. So everything is like, I'm really capitalizing on this Indigenous way of looking at the world, of bringing it in a really loving, beautiful way to the world. I'm trying to use all my talents.
You have a good through line in all of the things that you do, and you have the ability to, again, clarity of purpose. You were doing things that were intuitive, but it was good to have the clarity kind of defined in a way that you can articulate. So I asked the question just in time. Had I asked a little while ago, maybe the answer would have been a little bit fuzzy back then.
Oh yeah. And now I have a company called the Sacred Feminine Learning Lodge. So all of that stuff now so all the part that wants to teach and to teach that part, you know. So there's me expressing it through my acting and my singing and my writing, but now the teacher and the retreat host and the one who wants to bring these teachings to others, that can all go under the Sacred Feminine Learning Lodge. So now I have a place where it fits. I didn't have a place for it before. Now I do.
Right. So I'm going to put it on screen here so we have it in print in the recording here, my friend. So let me make sure I spell it right here. So 3 or 4 words. What is it? Sacred?
The Sacred Feminine Learning Lodge.
No, I mean beyond the Learning Lodge. If you sort of think about everything that includes the Learning Lodge and whatnot.
Oh, the rise of the Sacred Feminine.
The rise of Sacred Feminine. And I'm just hoping I spelled all this correctly. I'm going to go ahead and there you go. Did I get it right, my friend?
You did.
See, that is the through line in all the stuff that you are doing.
And I'm a facilitator of the rise of the Sacred Feminine.
Oh, there you go, a facilitator.
Yeah.
Now, we know from our work that facilitator is somebody who makes things easy for people to do that. So you make it easier for people to facilitate the rise of wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing that. Now it's in print, my friend. Everybody's going to be able to just roll it off the tongue when we see Andrea Menard. We're going to say, she is the facilitator of the rise of the Sacred Feminine.
That's right, brother. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing that. I'm going to go back to the photo. I'm going to bring the photo back in, and let's hear from you on some more stories that relates to some of these photos here, my friend. So tell us about this next one here.
That is the day we were filming my video, Silent No More. So as I told you about my TED Talk is called Silent No More, Using Your Voice to End Violence Against Women. But in the writing of it, I had always had one of my existing songs at the end that I was going to sing a bit. And then one day I just went, that doesn't feel right. And I said, okay, if I were to write a new song, what would it be? And I just spewed out these words, and I went, oh no, because now I have to have it done by the time we get my TED Talk up. So now I don't have to just have a TED Talk. I have to have a TED Talk with a new song, with a new video, and have it recorded all over by the time my TED Talk comes up. So added stress to myself. But boy, was it was totally given to me by my ancestral, like by the teachers, by my grandmothers, because it's called Silent No More. And it's all about, so here's a little bit of the song that I sing on the, I'll move back, on the TED Talk, but these were the words that came first. When birds of a feather sing and take wing together, a murmur becomes a roar. When 1 plus a billion voices soar, there can be silence no more. We can be silent no more.
Fantastic.
Thank you. So of course it's all about having one voice plus a billion. Like one voice is like a voice in the wind, but a million voices, a billion voices, boy, we can make change when we do that. So this was the day we shot my video, and all these beautiful people showed up to share our voices together.
Sounds like well, not the best analogy, but a rock in the water and the ripple effects that it creates. Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing that. Let's tell us more about this photo. What's the story behind this?
Well, that's just a photo shoot of the musician. So you have just my drum. I want to make sure I had a photo with my drum. Yeah.
So you love drumming and all various. Obviously, is probably tell us the kind of drums that you drum on. Give us a bit more detail on that.
I have an elk hide drum that was given to me, and that's kind of the main one I use. Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. I didn't make this one. My first one I made, not the greatest drum you've ever seen. I gave it away. That's kind of, I think, protocol is to give your first drum away.
Oh,
but I
okay.
was so bad at it, I haven't tried again.
A guitar player is supposed to do that too? I don't know if I
don't
gave my
know.
first guitar away. I don't recall now. It's been so long ago.
There's my
There you
TED
are
Talk.
at TED Talk at TEDx Stanley Park.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. You know, that is quite a sort of contrast between just simple black and a lot of flowery stuff, which is very striking, isn't it?
Yeah, that's my flower beadwork.
Mm.
Created by my friend Jeff Chief, who's this incredible designer from One Arrow First Nation. One Arrow? In Saskatchewan.
As in, you did that flower thing yourself?
Oh,
You
I mean,
applied
like,
that yourself?
what?
You applied the flower yourself, or something you had
No,
somebody?
he designed the jacket and did the flower beadwork.
Oh, wow, cool.
Onion Lake, maybe. Yeah,
Nice.
Onion Lake. Ah, this is a photo of me during the Velvet Devil, which was my one-woman show that this is the film version. So I did a one-woman show that premiered at the Globe Theatre in Regina, and I did several runs of it, including at the National Arts Centre in Ottawa. But then we did a film version of it that was filmed or that was aired on CBC and APTN. And it was one of the most incredible moments of my life. It was my play, I co-wrote it because I'd never written for film or TV before. I co-wrote it with my director, who's Larry Bauman from Saskatchewan. And it was the story of a young Métis woman from Batoche, who in 1930s, she's a little girl, hears jazz on the radio, or in the 20s, maybe she hears jazz on the radio, one of those big radios in the general store. And it's like her life changed. Jazz. It was so different from her family, from the music she grew up with. And she just dreamed of following that music. And she eventually runs away to become a star on the big Toronto stage. And she turns her back on her mom and her people. And she becomes, because she passes for a white woman. She becomes a star, but at great, great cost to her heart and her soul. And the Velvet Devil takes place when she comes home for the first time after her mom has died. And she does a concert for her friends and family. But it's like her having to come to terms with her decision. And this is the film version, so you'll get to see, because it's film, you can't, in a theater, I talk about the stories, I tell the stories, but in a movie, in this, you could go back and see what the choices she made and how she becomes a success. And this is when she's pretty much successful. That's when she's made it. That's the Velvet Devil.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, great. Thank you for sharing that. Very,
my first album.
First of all, fantastic kind of artistic ventures, but also very meaningful as well, the messages and all that.
Yeah, so it's on Spotify. So that's my first album, The Velvet Devil. So it's on iTunes and Spotify, and they can purchase all the albums on my website too.
Wonderful. Well, we'll pull up your website in just a moment here, my friend. So this is one of your, I think on Facebook, this is your profile photo or cover page at the moment.
Yeah. So that is, again, with Christine Kofsky. She's a fabulous photographer. And we just did a whole bunch of looks with my regalia and my drum and a whole bunch of different looks. So that's the one that, to me, has been speaking a lot about what I do now. So that's who I am publicly.
Yeah. Well, cool. So tell us, my friend, with all these tracks going on, you must be extremely busy. Tell us about the kinds of things that you do on a typical day. Obviously, being an entrepreneur and whatnot, you also need to do some kind of branding development and some marketing and all the different things. Maybe take us through what might be a typical day when you're not shooting a movie or when you're not performing on stage. Tell us a little bit more about
so during COVID is pretty much every day. Yeah, because so I have a little bit of a routine. I meditate every morning for at least 30 minutes. I walk the dogs. And so I have a morning that does not involve work for at least 2 hours.
Nice.
Because I try and center what it is that I want to connect with what I'm here to do, because I'm a mission-oriented person first and foremost.
Yeah.
You could call me an actor, you could call me a singer, you could call me a speaker in this, but I'm a mission-oriented person. I want to leave this world a better place than when I got here.
Mm-hmm.
And that means leveling, leveling racism, sexism, just letting all that stuff fade away. So, so then I move into my office sort of fresh and ready to go. And I kind of follow what leads my heart. That's sort of the way of the sacred feminine is to follow where my joy leads. Because if I have a list of things, and some will bounce out that day and others will just fade in the background, and you'll know what'll feed me today. What can I do today? And what makes me excited today? And I follow that. And usually, it's not like I'm the most prolific person, because some people can just whip out the stuff, but I'm not as fast, but I'm thorough. And when it comes, it's high quality and it's good, and I'm excited to release it. So just like these cards, I'm so excited about my cards right now. Oh, and there they are.
So when you spoke about all of that, the word flow comes to mind. So you have a clear vision of the direction you're heading and why you're heading in that direction. But really every day and every moment, you just manage your flow in terms of what is speaking to you, again, within that direction that you're heading.
That's a good way to look at it, because it is a flow. And if you think of all of my projects and all of my vision in a big long river, they're all laying beside me. So it's like we're all going in the direction, like we're all floating and flowing down that river together, and it'll be which one needs my help today? Which one needs my attention today? Because they're all going in that direction, and someone else, I think it was an elder that said, don't worry when one part of you gets quiet. It's like, again, waves and crests, it's like one will rise up and this is the one you deal with today. And then, now I'm an actor all of a sudden. Oh, I'm an actor. And where did all that other stuff go? Doesn't matter. That's who you are today. And then you're a singer again. And now you're a writer. And now you're a producer. And now you're an entrepreneur. So it's like, don't fret that the others seem to fade when one of the ones take focus, because what needs my attention gets my attention. And then the next thing will need my attention. I'll go after that.
Yeah, that reminds me of the term that I use to describe this concept. I call it a bit of a deep generalist. So you appear to people as being very general in the sense of you do this and you do that and you do the other thing. Seems very general, but the ability to drive deep when necessary, to just focus on acting, nothing but acting for that period of time, and really go deep in that, and then pop back up again, and maybe traverse over to playing concerts and whatnot and singing. Again, that whole idea of being able to kind of drive deep when necessary. And the other thing as well that you mentioned, I want to highlight for our viewers, is that anybody who is strategic eventually discover and realize that you don't want to fret, like you said, the term that you used, you don't fret over every minute of the day. People who are highly productive are productive enough to be relaxed about the moments when they're not productive.
Oh, yeah. To me, that, again, if we're going to look at sacred feminine and sacred masculine, the masculine systems that exist in place are output, do. And I can get caught in that, but my body can't take it. It's like one good thing about women who have been in that drive, our bodies can't really take it. So eventually we have to go, nope, I'm out. I can't. We can't do it. And and I know that with women because I'm a woman, but I know men can't handle it either. Our bodies break down. So to me, the feminine way, which is both masculine and feminine, or for male and female, I should say, and those who don't identify as either or both, is that the feminine way is to follow what flows, follow our joy. And some days, some things will have no joy. It'll be like, oh, and in a way, if we were to really allow, to be quite subversive and go, I'm not even going to touch that. I know there's a deadline, but I'm not going to touch that because it feels so yucky right now. Because chances are you'd go back, and when you were flowing, you'd go back and fix everything you wrote because it was so pukey. So when you follow what flows, you will get way more done in all the things you love. And just stop when something doesn't flow, have the courage to not push it.
May I offer yet another analogy?
Mm-hmm.
Flow to me, again, back to nature, is like the weather. You know, the weather and the pattern, it flows, right? I mean, it could be very calm one moment, and then it could be very stormy, and it has the power to do what it needs to do when it wants to do it, right? Whereas a computer, if we think about the typical, what I call machine, if you will, tends to want to consistently do this and keep on doing it, and consistency and whatnot. And so that whole sort of the two different ways of approaching life. One is how can I get consistency to the point of almost what I call robotic actions versus a very natural kind of ebbs and flow of nature and weather and whatever you want to think of. That's how things are, right?
Totally. Good for you. So look at all those feminine analogies, your water and the flow of nature. That's my brother. See, that's a man in balance right there. Way to go, dude.
Quick learner, that's all. That's all I am.
Hey, I'm impressed. Well done.
Tell us, my friend. I love to play either a video or an audio clip for our viewer here. I'm hoping you have a bit of time to go sort of beyond the official hour here, because I think we have a lot to share yet in terms of content. Would you like to go to a video or an audio clip, my friend?
Why don't you play Silent No More, the music video?
The music video. And let me just make sure that I get, is that one of the links that you provided me, my friend?
Yeah.
Wonderful. So looking at the link here, make sure that I get it. And Silent No More video. I see Silent No More video, right?
Music video, yeah.
You bet. I'm going to cue it up. Tell us about it while I cue it up, my friend.
Okay, so the Silent No More, like I said, I wrote this because of my TED Talk, because I wanted a song to support my TED Talk. But of course, once a song was wanting to be born, it just gets born. So Robert Walsh we did this across the miles. We wrote this song, just like you think it was COVID times. We actually wrote this over Zoom and over phone together. And we recorded it, how did we record it? I must have went there. How come I can't remember? Yes, I went there to Edmonton and recorded it. But it's one of those songs that I had several of my friends sing on it. And I wanted it to have like a million voices. So voices and voices and voices. So one of the points that I'd like the people to notice because this is a song about empowering women to not hold the secrets of violence anymore and hold those men accountable. But for the men who are watching, listen for the part where the men are marching with us, and you'll hear a part that says, I can hear you, I can hear you. The men are like walking and marching with us saying, I hear you, I hear you. And that to me is the most powerful part of the song. It just made me sob when Robert and I kind of discovered that moment of, I don't want to leave them out. That's not the way of the feminine. The feminine is all inclusive. The feminine is circular and everything is included in a circle. And I don't want to leave anything out. And we want our men to know they're invited into the conversation about ending violence against women. So here's Silent No More.
Can you hear it?
I can.
I have been keeping another man's sins, paying a price for my silence, afraid to speak out, just a voice in the wind. Still I must rise in defiance. I can hear Mother Nature sing her song, calling my voice to sing along. When birds of a feather sing and take wing together, a murmur becomes a roar.
That's wonderful. Wonderful.
Thank you.
So when was that? When was that created or produced or released, my friend?
Oh, with great speed. So it was my TED Talk in 2018 was on March 4th. I got the idea to write the song before Christmas. And I called Robert and went, I think we have to record a song. So we wrote it over Christmas.
Yeah.
I went out to his place in January.
Uh-huh.
And then, so once we did that part, then he did the producing and making sure it got mastered and mixed, or mixed and mastered. And then once that was done, then I made sure that I approached my friend Robert Colburn from Diamond Head Films. Diamond Head Films. And he just got all his resources and his expertise, and he helped me create the video. So we did that in I think after it was in February. So we did recorded, as soon as Trump was elected, all of the women started marching, right? Like those huge marches in January. So we got a few of those marches. We had 2 film dates. One, we wanted the big march, but it rained and it didn't work out. It was kind of a crappy shoot day, as it turned out to be. So then we did a second shoot day where we had a smaller group of people. So we wanted it to be single little group into a big group. And so that was all ready by March 4th. It was all done in 2 months.
Nice. Thank you for sharing the background on that. Now, I like to go to your website, beautiful website, by the way, and tell us the kinds of things that people would find on there, and just kind of do a quick perusal of it here, my friend. I'm going to go ahead and bring it in, and tell us about this website.
Well, like I said, all the different things that I do, there's a lot of things. So I tried to narrow it down to the singer, the speaker, the actor, and the wellness trainer. But on this site, you'll see, you'll be able to see my TED Talk and the video you just saw. You'll be able to see several things like that. But you will also see my blog, which helps people understand more about my philosophy of life and my ability to share the rise of the sacred feminine.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you can see my latest campaign, for instance, my campaign for the cards.
Mm-hmm.
So that you can find that on there on the first page. Yeah.
Great.
And you can have my bio and my demo reel and downloadable photos. And there's one particular video as well of working with Judy Isaac, who's a wonderful Métis filmmaker who is all about preserving the Michif language.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's on the first page, on the home page.
Yeah.
And you scroll down, there is a video there, all the way down. And there's the card click, by the way.
Yeah.
Keep going. There it is. So this one here, you can celebrate my Métis culture. I was filmed working with my elder, Tom McCallum, mm-hmm. And he's a fluent Michif Cree speaker from La Crosse in Saskatchewan. And so this is a little video of how I wrote a song that I needed him to be, that I asked him to translate for me. So you get to see the making of that time of me working with my elders. So that's a little video on there.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, there's a lot of things, but
Belinda chimed in again. She said,
know.
My dear Win sister.
Hello, my sister from down south.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, thank you. So obviously, basically your entire variety of all the work that you do is on the website. It's not just one of the aspects. Like you say, it's the actor, singer, speaker, and wellness trainer and retreat facilitator, but all of that. You see, what I need to see, my friend, you know what I'm going to say, right? what I'm going to say is that what I need to see, you see, it's great to see singer, actor, speaker, and we talked about that. But you have just clarified with me when I asked the question earlier, what is the thing that runs through all of that? And what did we say that was? Can we repeat that, folks?
Rise of the Sacred Feminine.
There, that's what we want to see on there.
I know. Well, I have a website that's being built at the moment. It's called the Sacred Feminine Learning Lodge. So that's the place where I can send everyone for that work.
Wonderful,
We
wonderful.
got so many things.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. Now, of course, any sort of robust kind of celebrity would do. We have all kinds of sites. You have your YouTube site where all the YouTube videos are. You have your of course, LinkedIn for professional profile there, Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and you name it, social media. Is there a social media that people might expect you to be on that you're not on, my friend?
I'm not on Snapchat.
No?
No desire.
Are you on TikTok?
No, not that either.
Me neither. I was just kidding. But it is the thing. It is the thing these days, some of these things. But yeah. So tell us, my friend, do you have a story of the highlight of all of the different aspects of your career? Is there a highlight story that you want to share that is like resonate with you right now as you think about it, top of mind? May not be the best highlight of all times, but as I ask that question, can you think of a highlight story that you want to share that represents a really highlight in your career, a high point?
Hello, Daphne. Thanks for showing up. I would say, and maybe we'll probably have to get cutting it short soon. One thing that I tell people that was enormous in my life, but, I'm one of those people that I've had a lot of incredible highlights because almost everything that I've tackled has been scary for me. I've been terrified to tackle every new thing that I do. Mm-hmm. And, a lot of people may not know that about me, is that it looks so easy, but it's really not. I have great anxiety about opening doors that I don't know. Like, it's going from ignorance to knowing. And some people love that. And I kind of go, what? I get frightened. So when I achieve something, like, for instance, like this deck of cards, the fact that I'm on the verge of being able to get them printed is so huge because they've been in the works for over 3 years. Mm-hmm. And they're gorgeous. So I'm really proud of them. But I guess the very first thing that became my first massive obstacles that helped me launch my career in many ways was the birth of the Velvet Devil. And I call this character, because she was a character that started haunting me. And she was my emancipator. I think of her as that. It's like she gave me the vision of this play, because I saw right from the start, this character gave me this. I saw the CD, I saw the play, and I saw the movie version. And I went, wow, I want all those things. Oh, this should be easy. Yeah. Well, I was this bush Métis kid, and like all those things were 3 different industries: music industry, theater, and film and TV. And I knew nothing about any of them. And it's like this character with this vision. It was a very clear vision that I saw of a CD being made, of a play, and a movie. But I had no idea how to get those things finished, or how to complete them, how to even start them. And it took a 10-year journey of me learning all those different genres, those different industries. And she launched me onto the national stage. So because of this character, because of the vision first, and that's very much the sacred feminine, when you're given the vision first, it's like, oh, well, that's perfect. That's what I want. But now you have to walk towards it. That's the sacred masculine, right? Get the vision first and then walk towards the dream. And it took a 10-year walk. It was a 10-year walk towards all those different dreams. Yeah. And because of that, though, I had the ability now to walk further in all those different directions. And now, again, what do I know about publishing cards or the publishing industry or being an author? That's new for me now, too. Here I am.
It's like working with a puzzle with a hundreds of pieces, but at least you have a picture of what completion looks like, and you can
Yeah.
aim at working through that, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly it.
Thank you for sharing that story. Wonderful. So now, what year was this, my friend? This photo here. If I asked you to, when was that taken?
That was 2005,
Wow.
because the movie was aired in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
So 2005 was a big year, and I premiered the play at the Globe in 1998.
Mm.
No, did I? It could be later than that, but the CD was released in 2002.
Mhm.
So maybe actually it was 2000.
Yeah.
I was writing it in 1998. So I think we premiered it at the Globe Theatre in 2000.
Mhm.
Did the CD in 2002, and then the movie in 2005, like recorded it and released in 2006.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, in short, here, we're really listening to somebody who has been, in my mind, at the top of various career kind of professions that you have, whether it's movie making, whether it's plays or it's theater, whether it's music performance as a singer and songwriter and artist that way, and instrumentalist, but also the whole, again, speaking and training and retreat and whatnot. You are all kind of top notch in many of those. And I want to ask you, if there was just, if you had one day kind of said to yourself, oh, I really want to just focus on a few of those things. I'm just curious, what's your perspective on the retreat? I know retreat is something that you probably started recently. How's that resonating with you, my friend? Talk a bit about retreat and what it means to you.
Well, I do a little bit heartbroken at the moment, because I had 2 retreats in Hawaii booked, a men's retreat, by the way. So I had just a goddess gathering for women, and I started getting these emails from men asking, do you do a men's retreat? And I went, wow, no, but let me think about it. And I got a few men too. So I had 2 retreats booked in April, and they were canceled. So that was a little heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But so as I am getting more articulate and visible with my teachings about the rise of the sacred feminine, people are resonating with it, and men and women and people of all genders are wanting to connect with that knowledge, because it's not exclusive. It's not for women. I know that I'm here to empower women, that is, and especially Indigenous women. That is something I am here to do. But I'm here to facilitate the rise of the sacred feminine, however that looks. So no matter who is called to these teachings, I want to be able to offer my teachings to anyone who's interested, because it's for everyone. Yeah.
Dare I make a prediction? And that is, I predict, and based on what I'm hearing, based on what I know, my guess is retreat is a bit of a future growth direction for you. Can I say that?
Meaning that it'll get bigger? Or when
huge.
COVID's over? Yeah,
it'll be huge. COVID aside, beyond COVID, my prediction is that retreat is an area that I assume you're very passionate about, and I can predict that it could probably grow significantly over the next few years. It could just catch fire and just rocket.
Well, thank you. I mean,
that'd be okay with you if that happens?
Yes. If Hawaii is still opening its arms to me. Yeah, because that it's an intimate way. I have a lot of things that are still being born. There's some live events that I want to do someday in person, not just online, but some live events that I want to do. And I'm hoping that, they culminate in a retreat for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking that.
Wonderful. So as you think about kind of summarizing and sort of wrapping it up here, do you have anything else to share that is either in a story or in a sentiments that you want to impart with our viewers who are watching now and later in the recording? Any summarizing thoughts or?
Well, besides my dog snoring, hang on.
Yeah.
I couldn't concentrate. Well, first of all, I've really enjoyed talking with you, Dune. You know, it's you. Thank you for asking me all those questions about my life and my journey. If there's anything that I want to, I want to let people know that, yeah, we are in a time of great change on the planet. And a lot of our European ancestor people who came here, to the settlers who came to this land, are going to have some, they're going to be struggling. And men, who are, they're people from that ancestry at this time, and people who are men are going to they're going to have to do some real soul searching, because the world is asking us all to change. The women are changing, people of color, the BIPOC community, the people from the trans, two-spirited, queer community. There is change happening on the planet. And I don't want, the rise of the sacred feminine says that it's happening whether we believe in it or not. It's here. So the easiest way we're going to get through this together is to go embrace your own sacred feminine, which means embrace your own inner mystery and ask the questions that are being demanded of you from this time. Ask the questions, demand them of yourself. And I promise you, if you ask those questions, you will ride the wave much easier. It's when you fight this rise that it'll just be bumpier than you want it to be. So remember, everything is welcome in the circle. Everything, and I'd be remiss to say that, in reconciliation, in all the hard work, is that if it was easy, it would have happened like that. So the fact is that all things are welcome in the circle. And that means guilt and shame, rage and blame, it all has to fit. So wherever you are on your journey, say yes. Just be willing to play in the mess for a while and go into your inner mystery. And I promise that you'll find other allies there. You'll find allies there who can walk this journey of change with you.
This is great. This is great. I have an idea. If you are willing to go along, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play another song, my friend, and then we're going to wrap it up very briefly, very quickly after that. But the song that I'm thinking of is this thing called "I Love My Life." Tell us about that. I'm going to play it, and we're going to enjoy it, and we're going to have the photos flash by while we're sort of off camera there. But tell us about "I Love My Life" as a song.
"I Love My Life" is a song that it's like an anthem. It's a silly song. I wanted it to be a silly song that you wouldn't take too seriously, because I wanted it to get past your brain. Have you ever heard of an earworm? Mm-hmm, earworms are things that get stuck in your head, right? Well, I wanted this song, "I Love My Life," to be an earworm that got stuck in your head. Oh. So it's one of those songs on Lyft that's a positive message, and it's funny and silly, but it has a message that is hopefully will get to your unconscious.
Let me know if you can hear it, okay? So give me a second to go ahead and...
And yeah, I want people to sing it all day. I want it stuck in your head so bad that you hate it, but you love it, but you hate it, but you love it.
Oh, it's the duality of things. Duality is where life is at, isn't it?
I'm thinking we can evolve out of duality,
Yeah, let's...
at least polarization.
Yeah. Let me just do this here. It's kind of not cooperating with me here for a second. So give me another second here to manage this. And
yeah, this is a cute little song that is fun to sing, but I think you'll find it fun to sing and get stuck in your head. Please get it stuck in your head. You're walking around saying, "I love my life. I love my life."
So I'm going to take this out here, my friend, and I'm going to go ahead and bring the other thing in. So give me a second here to bring in that one there, which... all right, so that's good. Can you hear the sound if I click on it right now like this?
I love my life.
Hear the song?
I love my
nice and loud?
Yeah.
Here's what we're going to do.
Every step of the way, I can honestly say I love my life. I love this day.
Hang on there.
What a beautiful day. Each moment is mine to make it divine. I love this day. I love Every step of the way I can honestly say I love my life. I love this day. What a beautiful day. Each moment is mine to make it divine. I love this day. Hand in hand, we're on the rink, ice skating. When it comes to fancy moves, we're not that skilled. The moment I let go, I'm face down in the snow. But that's okay, look, I found a $20 bill. It's not what I expected, it's much better than that. I love my life, I love my life. Every step of the way I can honestly say I love my life. I love this day. What a beautiful day.
It's good to be here.
Each moment is mine to make it divine. I love this day. I love making dinner, not cleaning up, chai latte in my cup, fresh sheets on my bed, a good book I haven't read, junk food, road trip, best friend at my hip, stinky dog, my crazy kin, Sunday morning sleeping in, a belly laugh, a snotty cry, making love eye to eye. I love my you, such a beautiful you. I love my life, I love my life. Every step of the way I can honestly say I love my life. I love this day, such a beautiful day. Each moment is mine to make it divine. I love this day. I love my life.
Lots and lots of fun there. So
Even
my
when you don't love your life very much, that's a good song to get stuck in your head because maybe you'll actually look at your life a little differently.
yeah. So as we wrap this up here, I have one more question for you. Are you good with one more question?
One more question, you bet.
Okay. What are 3 words? Could be independent words, could be tied together in a phrase. 3 words you want to leave our viewers with after watching this conversation here. 3 words that you just top of mind, might not be the best of all. If we ask you another day, it might be 3 different words, but 3 words that are top of mind right now that you want our viewers to think about.
Connection, appreciation, and possibility.
Wonderful. Connection, appreciation, and possibility. Very powerful words, my friend, and thank you so much. And to our viewers out there, thank you so much for your time here on this conversation, and certainly in the replay as well as you watch the recording. Thank you for your time and participating in this conversation. Certainly comment on the stream even after the conversation here ends live. Comment in there, and I'm sure Andrea would be happy to engage you in further conversation, especially if you have questions for her. But you have been listening to the wonderful Andrea Menard, who comes to us from, of course, beautiful British Columbia today, and I'm over here, Dune Wynn from Sherwood Park, Alberta, and so we are interprovincial, my friend, today. We're interprovincial, and thank you so much for joining us, Andrea, and best wishes to you, my friend, and all of the things that you do, and COVID and all.
Thank you so much for having me, Dune. It's great to be in conversation with a good conversationalist.
Wonderful. Thank you, Andrea.
Yeah.
We'll see you in the green room, and we'll just do a quick cheer there. But let me just say bye to our viewers here. Bye, Andrea.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.